There was some players through the gun, I think you had a few on the ground that weren't maybe quite right. And did that really cost you, or was there more to it?
Look, it might have hurt us in the last quarter, but the game was well and truly dead and buried by then. So we had a lot of players down, but it was no issue for us. The way we played and how we went about our footy in the first half had nothing to do with the injuries we copped towards the end.
What is the injury wash-up from what you can gather so far?
Hamish has done a hammy, so that'll be the usual, 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it is. Really, that's about it. Paul Stewart was pretty sore with some cramp and corks, and Jacob Surgeon had some concussion. And Jackson Trengove dislocated his finger 2 or 3 times during the game, so they were the issues of coming off and on.
Is it the same one he hurt early in the year? Or?
No, a different one, yeah.
So Harlan's done a pretty bad hamstring there, obviously.
Not ripped it off the bone or anything, but he would have done a general hamstring, so whatever that is, we'll get it scanned and have a look at. But it's been a few years now since he's had a soft tissue, so he's it's disappointing for it to come up at this stage of the year for him.
How much does that hurt you, given the fact that Gray's gone, Hartler for a few more weeks, and is Bokey expected back for your next game against Geelong?
No, probably not Geelong. Probably more the week after that, whoever that is in. So he'd be another 2 weeks away from ready to play.
So at least you're pretty short-handed for a little while.
Look, with some of our better on ballers, it does to an extent, but I thought we'd been going through it manfully over the last month, 5 weeks, but today was really disappointing, the way we went about our footy. But I thought, full credit to the Bulldogs, they really come out and were really hard at the contest, and we were pretty second-rate in that regard to it, and sort of flowed onto how we moved the ball and our skill level in the first half. So all game we were lucky to stay in striking distance because of their inaccuracy, but they certainly gave us a lesson in some hardness at the footy.
So how would you describe your performance today?
Very poor. I thought it was our worst effort we've had all year. We've had some poor quarters, 1 or 2, but I've been pretty proud of the way the guys have gone about their footy all year. But today I thought it was just a real poor, just total game from us. Probably 3 or 4 quarters for the year, I could say they hadn't really had a full-blown effort at the opposition. But apart from that, they've been really consistent with their effort and competitiveness. And today I just thought we were a long way off it. And if the Bulldogs had a kick straight, it probably would have really shown up how far we were off it.
Why disappointing is that? Because obviously you get the bye next week. You could have had a good performance, would have gone in, reasonably placed, I guess.
Yeah, look, it leaves a sour taste in our mouth heading into the bye, no doubt. We'd shown some good signs. We thought internally we've certainly improved as a group, and while we get to this stage, we still think we have improved. It'll feel silly and won't feel good saying that after today's performance. So that's the disappointing thing, knowing that we had a break coming up, a rest coming up, and we dished up that. More for the sake of how we played for each other and our supporters and our club.
Was it the contested footy or the disposal that was really the most disappointing today, coughing it up?
Probably both, I would have thought. Yeah, I thought we were okay. We had our hands on it, but we coughed it up, and some errors we made would have been pretty damning, I would have thought. Would have been a great game to watch, but the contested stuff was okay, but as the game wore on, it certainly that the discrepancy with that become pretty big, and so did the uncontested stuff. So, look, it was just a game where we just got dominated in a lot of facets.
Troy, your thoughts on what Matty said about the performance? How do you explain it?
Yeah, I think he's spot on. It's probably been one of our worst ones for the year. We got smashed, contested footy. Early on we were real fumbly and probably cost us, and as Matty said, a combination of skill errors too that really put the backs under pressure. I think they had something like 10 or 12 inside 50s more than us in the first quarter, so when our skill levels like that, it definitely makes it hard.
It was a tough decision as well to drop Alipati Carlisle over the week and sort of make it so public that you guys weren't particularly happy with his fitness. Was that sort of like a statement for the rest of the group?
Oh, look, it wasn't public to make a statement to the group internally when you were at, but I don't think you can hide anything in AFL nowadays. You guys are pretty good at finding out what's going on. So, but look, that had no bearing on today's game. I thought our key backs were terrific. It wouldn't have mattered who we had down there; they would have done it pretty well. It was a standard we're setting, but I thought Chappie and Jacko were pretty good, and Paul Stewart certainly battled on manfully. But the amount of ball coming down there, it certainly made their life difficult.
Chappie, from a player's point of view, you have no issue with the decision on Carlisle?
Oh, definitely not. It's frustrating having him in that situation. But we support Matty. We have standards at the football club that every player's got to adhere to. And if you don't, then that's the consequence. And we've got no problem at all with it. It just goes to show how important it is to keep your standards up at a football club, because otherwise, if they drop off, then everything would fall out of the club. So we've set the high standards this year, and that's what we're looking to improve on. And Alapato hasn't lived up to them, so as a consequence, it gets dropped.
The players have been put in that decision.
Yeah, Matty and the leadership group spoke about it.
I guess pleasing Matty was at least he came back and was given best for South yesterday. A decent response from him.
Yeah, it was a great response. We'd expect that of him to do it, and he certainly copped it on the tune and went about it in the right manner. So, he'll have a big week on the track and, try and get his way back into our team.
And if he does, he can play in the next round if he beats those benchmarks.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Jay Schultz looked pretty sore as well. I understand he had some padding around his ribs. Has he got a soreness in that area?
Oh, just from a few weeks ago, but, it's not inhibiting too much when he's playing out there. And once you're going to cross the white line, no matter how much padding you got, you're up for your game to be dissected and rated. And Jay certainly didn't have his best game out there either. But once again, the forwards were inhibited a bit also by our delivery.
So, how do you judge your first half of the season, and what's the aspirations for the second half?
We'll sit down as a group this week and set some goals for the second half of the year. Once we dissect today's game and get through that. As I said, it's straight after today's game, you don't. You got a bad feeling in your stomach about how you're going and how you played. But if we look at it as a whole, I think we have improved. I know we have improved. The way we've gone about our footy in certain areas. Today's game, or statistical wise, will knock a lot of things around because we certainly got smashed in most areas. But as a whole, I thought we've played a pretty competitive brand of football. We've been up and about for a while, and today, it doesn't end well for the first half of the year for us. But I think we have improved. But that's done and dusted now. We've done that. We've set a platform, and we'll charge ourselves up for the next 11 or 12 games and improve again.
Bryce coming at a pretty good time on today's injury.
Oh yeah, I think so. Look, the group was a little bit flat heading into the Hawks game, and we looked a bit tired today, but probably much to do with how much the opposition was dominating. So look, it has come at a good time. We'll review it. We'll have a good training session Wednesday, and try and recover pretty well from it. And then we don't play till Sunday week or Sunday fortnight again. So we've got a bit of time to get ready for it and prepare ourselves for the second half of the season.
How did you rate Justin Westhoff today? Tony Shell was really critical of him on radio.
Look, we used him probably from halfway through the third just as a loose, just to try and shore up something or stop them scoring at will as they were. Look, I think all our key forwards would have struggled. I thought Brett Ebert was okay today, but Schultz and Westy would have struggled with the way we brought the ball inside 50. And once we put a spare behind, it made it pretty difficult for him to attack there. So, Westy didn't have a great game, but it has a fair bit to do with the movement going down there more so than just on Justin. But he wouldn't have been happy with it. I think, as I said, we probably had two players, our key backs, who won their position. So there's a lot of guys who didn't set up to the standards.
You're satisfied with his work ethic?
Sorry?
You're satisfied with his work ethic?
Yeah, look, Justin, he works hard. I can't question that. He tries hard. He works his backside off for a big guy. We ask him to do a lot of things because he can run all day. I never question Justin's work ethic.
And Travis Blake obviously heading back with you guys tomorrow to Adelaide. No indication yet as to what he wants to do in the future?
No, nothing yet. That'll play out soon, I hope. But he's coming back with the centre, and we'll see how that plays out.
All right, mate.
Thanks, guys.